King's Gambit versus E captures, f4. Part 6. White pawn to e4. Black pawn to e5. White pawn to f4. Black pawn captures white pawn on f4. White knight from g1 to f3. Black knight from g8 to f6. White knight from b1 to c3. Black bishop to b4. White pawn to e5. Black bishop captures white knight on c3. White pawn captures black bishop on c3. Black queen to e7. White bishop to e2. Black knight to g4. White bishop captures black pawn on f4. Black king castles kingside. White pawn to h3. Black knight to h6. White queen to d3. Black knight from b8 to c6. White king castles queenside. Black pawn to f6. White pawn captures black pawn on f6. Black queen captures white pawn on f6. White bishop captures black pawn on c7. Black pawn to d5. White queen captures black pawn on d5 check. Black bishop to e6. White queen to g5. Black queen to f7. White bishop to d6. Black rook to d8. White queen to f4. Black queen captures white queen on f4 check. White bishop captures black queen on f4. Black knight to f7. White rook to e1. Black rook captures white rook on d1 check. White bishop captures black rook on d1. Black bishop to d5. White pawn to b3. Black rook to d8. White pawn to c4. Black bishop captures white knight on f3. White bishop captures black bishop on f3. Black pawn to g5. White bishop to d2. Black pawn to h6. White bishop to d5. Black king to g7. White rook to e6. Black rook to c8. White bishop to c3 check. Black king to g8. White rook captures black pawn on h6. Black king to f8. White rook to h7. Black knight from c6 to d8. White bishop to f6. And after this move, black resigned.